I missed too much of the presentation the first time, so I came back.
Welcome to Kansas.
Okay, good evening everyone. My name is Lance Fain. I'm the director of Kentwood Broward. You're all here tonight, so basically we can briefly go over what Kentwood does, why we're different, what we have to offer, explain the students we deal with, the program, how it works, and see if it's a good fit for you. Obviously schools have to be a good fit for the child and the parents, and the whole family. It can't just be a good fit for the child or the parents. So we're going to go through a presentation. I'll try and make it as painless as possible. If you've got any cell phones or pages, just keep them on, but please put them on vibrate so that you don't get interrupted. And we'll get started. All right, so what is Kentwood? We're a co-educational day school. We're a day and overnight summer camp, and we offer what we consider an alternative education program. Alternative being just that it's an option as opposed to other public or private schools. We service average to above average intelligent students who for one reason or another are not being successful in traditional schools, be it public or private, socially or at home. That's it. What that reason is irrelevant to us. Doesn't matter whether they're ADD, ADHD, ODD, OCD, Asperger's, autistic, NVLD, PED, any alphabet diagnosis. It doesn't even matter if they have a diagnosis. Only about 40% of our school even has a diagnosis. But if they're not being successful, and they should be, that's the issue. When we talk about high functioning for our students, high functioning on an IQ test may not be indicative of how our students perform. Most of our students underperform an IQ test, either because they have a specific learning difficulty or they have some kind of test-taking anxiety. So we can't always use IQ test as a measurement for if someone's high functioning or not. It's too limited, an IQ test. So when we look at things, we look at 4 different areas. We look at academics, we look at social skills, life skills, and physical skills. Academics should be pretty self-explanatory. It's does the child do well in an academic setting? Are their grades okay? How they do academically? Social skills is do they make friends? How are they with friends? How are they interacting with people? What are their social skills like in general with the people in the environment? Life skills is how they self-regulate themselves, meaning their hygiene. Do they shower by themselves? Can they dress themselves? Do they follow directions? Can they take care of the things they need to do without someone guiding them through all these steps? And the physical skills is just, are they gifted athletically or physically? How's their hand-eye coordination? Are they gifted in a sport or something else? I talk very quickly and I say a lot, so I get thirsty, so I'm going to drink throughout this whole thing, so just excuse me as we go. All children are unique. It goes for not just our students here, but all children. So not everything I say is going to apply to your child. I'm going to say things that you're going to nod and say, yep, that sounds exactly like. You got a question, sir?
Yeah, I got a question. Go back to the old slide.
Yeah.
Are the children all tested on these 4 things?
Yeah.
They're all tested on it?
Well, tested how?
I don't know. I mean,
In other words, our philosophy is if your child is high functioning in one of these 4 areas,
yeah,
we can make them high functioning in all of these areas. If they're not high functioning in any of these, they may not be a good fit for Kentwood. And that we have to wait and see. What we're doing now is somewhat assessing them in all 4 of these areas tonight. It's a very brief assessment, but we check on all 4 of these areas. In other words, they're not just getting an academic assessment tonight. We don't see where are they on math, reading, and this, and decide whether they're for our school or not. So a lot of things we look at while we're doing this assessment.
thank you.
You're welcome. So not everything I say is going to apply to you or your family. I might say something that you'll nod and you'll say, wow, how do you know it's like you're living in my house? And then I'm going to say things and you say, that's got nothing to do with me or my family, and it can't. Usually we do all these things in a one-on-one basis, and we meet with the family and the child individually, but because of time and space and demand, we just don't have time to meet with everyone that needs to be met with. So we're doing it in a group. So I can't custom make everything to what's going to be exactly for you, but what I can do is explain how the program goes so you get a good idea of our philosophy and how we do things. The reasons for lack of success for a lot of our students, one of the big ones is lack of social skills or problems with life skills. And that being making friends, treating friends, or keeping friends. A lot of our students can make friends like this, but within 5 to 10 minutes they've annoyed every friend they've made to where no one wants to be friends with them anymore. Or they think everyone's their friend. They think that a 30-year-old or 40-year-old or 50-year-old is their friend in the same way a 2, 3, or 4-year-old is their friend. If you ask them how many friends they have, they've got 45 best friends. They don't know any of their names, they never have sleepovers, they don't have play dates. So the whole concept of friendship may be distorted. The self-esteem or self-confidence, obviously if you don't have friends or you don't have an active social life, your self-esteem and your self-confidence is going to suffer right along with it. It's the first thing to go. So that starts leading towards, sometimes with a lot of our students, they go into depression because there's no social life or nothing happening successfully for them at school. And now not only are they on an attention deficit med or stimulant, but now they're put onto meds to help regulate their mood or their anxiety or their depression or something else. Impulsive or the poor decision making is exactly what it sounds like. You may just look at your child, your son, your daughter and say, why would you do that? How could you have done that? And they'll look at you and, I don't know. That's generally the answer they'll give is they don't know how they could have done it. General lack of social skills, and that may be if I say to you, can your son or your daughter go to the grocery store, buy 5 things, pay for them, give correct change, come back? Can they do that? Can they fill up the car with gas? Can they put away their laundry? Can they self-regulate that way? Do they have those skills, general social skills? That's what we're talking about. An inability to see cause and effect, meaning they do something and something negative happens because of it, and they can't believe that that happened. And to the rest of the world, it's quite obvious that if you are doing this, this is going to happen. But our children, sometimes they cannot see cause and effect. They don't see how their actions equate to something else happening. And they don't accept responsibility. That goes right along with cause and effect. In other words, it's everyone's fault but theirs. It's the mothers, the brothers, the sisters, the cats, the dog, the teachers, the neighbors, you name it, anyone other than them is responsible for what happened. And when you ask them why they did it, generally the answer they give is, anyone know? I don't know. Not if you get I don't know as an answer. Because honestly they don't know. When you ask them why would you do that or how come, it's I don't know. And the problem is most parents don't accept I don't know. They want an actual answer of why the child did it. So the child's forced to do what?
Make something up.
That's exactly right. The child is now forced to make something up because they know I don't know is not an acceptable answer. So a lot of our children then have to start inventing things as to why they did it because that's mom and dad or grandpa or grandma's not going to accept I don't know. And if they can say something like, well, my neurotransmitters weren't firing correctly, and there's left a gap between my axons and my dendrites didn't align today, even though they were aligned yesterday, that might be a more acceptable answer to everyone. But that's not the answer they're going to get. They're going to say, I don't know, and I don't know is pretty accurate. They're oppositional or defiant, and that basically means that I'm not being told what to do. And that should go for everyone here. If I said, raise your hand if you like being told what to do, none of you would raise your hand. And your children shouldn't like being told what to do either. The difference is they don't have a choice. They're not 18, they're not independent, they're not responsible for themselves legally or financially at this point in time, and therefore what you say or what an authority figure says goes. There is no negotiating. They don't have an option but to do what they're told. Being oppositional or defiant at this age is not an option. It's just not acceptable. And that's one of the problems that